Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ambassador Kenya channel. This is Beyond the Hashtag Diaries, being part of the episode of issues that we want to indulge today. So today, guys, I've decided just to bring you something so quick. Let's think about it. And I didn't take it well from the time I heard about it in the newsroom, from one of the newsroom in our country. And it's an issue that really happened recently about the forced marriage of a 17-year-old girl in Galla. And I think it's Galla, in Wajir County. So ladies and gentlemen, we being the youth ambassador, and I know I call myself youth ambassador, but I believe we have young youth ambassadors, very many of us outside here. You who are listening to me today, you are a youth ambassador. Being you are a young person, be it you are a older person, or elderly kind of, but the issues transpiring in our country is something must be spoken about, and we should let people know that these things happen. There are people who we call humans, but there are those who are called animals in a form of humans. Tell me why you put into blaze a 17-year-old because of refusing to marry a 55-year-old young person. Really? Is it the place we have reached as a country? I heard about this story and I told myself, lazima my story nilete. We speak about it, juu manze is not right. Manze aini soundi okay, because it really disturbed me, because I have young sisters of that age. I have cousins of that age. And nikakuwa nafikiria, what if it will happen to my daughter tomorrow? What if it happens to your daughter? What if it happens to you? Is it not because that tu aliuliwa mali kuchomwa manze? That was so intense, and I want to really thank the Law Society of Kenya and the Gender Commission for really fighting off this thing. And I believe the other day we heard about the report from the IG of police, Douglas Kanja, talking about this, and we really want to salute for that action they have done. And we want to ask the Youth Ambassador Kenya that let these perpetrators be put into book, and that should not happen to any other Kenyan or any other person ever in life. Because why? This young 17-year-old lady has a very bright future. Coming from a marginalized community, the hardships and everything they are going through, she doesn't have to go through such a thing. And really, I want to ask parents, are we really doing our jobs? Mental health issues in our country is really rising is being rampant in the country, is really rising. And you know, it doesn't have to mean that you have to see your child crying, sleeping, or rather, many people smile outside here with suffering a mental health issue, depression, stress, anxiety. The life that we live in doesn't match the life that you guys lived. There are a lot of struggles, there are a lot of commitments, there are a lot of stuff that really torment young people outside here. So guys, how many people may undergo the shit that this girl undergo, and it was not mentioned? We have had in Kisii region, Samburu, the FGM issues, like young girls wana undergo shit nyata sisi wenye hatujui, unless inatoka kwa media. But then these things are fine. I really want to take back the words, maybe the unethical words that I've used, like shit and everything. But guys, it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to really work that way. We are brothers. Let's be our brothers keepers as a parent. Let's be parents. And as a scholars, let's educate and bring some civic education to some marginalized communities and tell them the world is changing. It's a world where we have to empower our ladies. It's a world where our ladies will take over the tools of power and lead this particular country. It's a time where we want to empower our young people, that they have to make production and not even consumption alone, in terms of technology, in terms of development, infrastructure, in terms of agricultural growth and everything, in terms of fighting the climate change issues. Is the time. The civic education should reach to you and tell you that it's a time of innovations. It's a time to support what is right. It's a time to condemn injustice. It's a time that we should call for the order of our nation. It's a time that we should bring the systems to work. It's not a time to go to issues of FGM. It's not a time to do forced marriages. As a youth ambassador and the team we work with, we condemn it with the most possible words that we can. We want to ask that the corridors of power, the atrocities that happen to young people is like a terrorism act in our country, because it's killing the future of our nation. We are having a lot of economical terrorism that we are talking about now. The issues of education, the issues of the funding models that we have been working with in the court the other day, made their ruling against it. We want to ask the government and the responsible leaders, check them. Work on the committees that are responsible to bring such issues. Economic terrorism that is affecting our young people is issues of employment. Work on that. The issues on people now really struggling to go to Qatar, to go to Dubai, doing what and everything. And when they reach there, they go through the same atrocities. These are our citizens. The previous story of Nduta in Vietnam is a true and among the many stories of young people who lost their way and decided to do what it may be for them to survive. To bring change in their communities, it doesn't have to happen this way. We have enough resources in our country to have all of us be in line with the system, to obey the rules of our nation. But this will happen when we stand as young people, we stand as parents, we stand as professionals, a doctor, a nurse, an engineer, and everyone, so that we can mandate ourselves. Let's once and for all put all our selfishness aside and focus on the true impacts of our nation. It's about growing a nation where tomorrow you'll find a profession in hospital as a doctor being so rude, being so arrogant because of a life he or she lived when he was a young person. You find young people saizi munaita Gen Z, they're shouting in streets. They don't give any they're really not coping up with any challenge. When they find a challenge, they shout it out. That is the way. That is that. But then, what kind of society are we creating? We'll be creating a society where tomorrow children will be putting into bars their parents. We are creating a society where tomorrow young people will be killing each other because of the atrocities they undergo, sufferings they went through when they were young. Kindly, leaders, religious leaders, the elders in our communities, parents, check these things. Check these things, we have been talking about it. Check your child kama ako shule. And when you call them, don't be calling just them that I'm in work, I'll be calling you, or I'm in work, nitakutumia pesa, or I'm in work, kindly talk to fulani, atakusaidia this. Sometimes we just want to hear that voice of how are you? How are you going? How are you faring on? Is everything okay? When you ask me as a young person, is everything okay? I might decide, in fact, to share the heaviest thing in my heart that I had. But when you ask me something else out of my well-being, sometimes as a parent, as a guardian, then I lose it. The next thing I'll be thinking is how to cope about it. I'll go to drugs. So ladies and gentlemen, it was just a quick one. It's just a concern. It's a big thing. So guys, let's check about this thing. It was really unfortunate for that lady. We want to ask that God may receive her soul in eternal peace. And as a youth ambassador Kenya, we say may her soul rest in peace. I want to thank my director, Bwana Wilson Kigen, and all the casters who have participated to make this thing a success. Until next time, see you. Bye-bye.